The consumer journey post-purchase is super important because it costs us significantly more money to acquire a client than it does to retain a client. We spend so much time trying to get them to purchase that I think we overlook how important this is. Order confirmations, shipping, everything you see along here, the 3-day, the product review, we're going to talk about. This is now the little mini merry-go-round of what you do post-purchase and why you do it and how you do it and what technology tools can help underpin this so that you don't have to analog remember to do it all. This is something that I think is oft neglected, and it is perhaps the most important thing for us all to be looking at, the consumer journey post-purchase. And I think before we even start talking about it, let me explain and let me share with you some things that you probably already know, which is why it's so important, right? The consumer journey post-purchase is super important because it costs us significantly more money to acquire a client than it does to retain a client. So if we have a client already, we should focus on that client and on that post-purchase journey so that we can maximize our opportunities to delight them and make them continue purchasing from us and engaging with us on any level. And this is going to yield a whole bunch of benefits, right? Because if we continue in interacting with them and supporting them and delighting them post-purchase, we're going to get enriched consumer profiles because they'll be sharing information with us. And by getting them to trust us because we're consistent even after they buy, rather than just, oh, you bought, great, see you later when you're ready. You know, we keep that relationship going. They share things with us. We get to learn more about them. And when we learn more about them, when they share data, which is just a fancy word for information. When they share more information with us, we can customize and personalize things for them better, and that increases average ticket, lifetime value of a client, frequency of purchases, customer loyalty. You guys can read the screen, so I'm generally not going to read the stuff that's written on the screen if I can avoid it. So that's the why behind this, why we're having this whole talk today, continuing the journey post-purchase. So your client now has left the store. They're thrilled with the experience that they had in the store, right? They're happy with your quality, the price, your workmanship, your service, the attention to detail, the questions that you ask them. Now, what must you do in order to continue that journey? What does that even mean, right? I want you to consider this journey, the consumer journey, as if it were a merry-go-round. And there's lots of lovely, shiny things and points upon which you can get on and get off. And our job as retailers is to make sure that they want to stay on that merry-go-round for as long as possible, that it delights them at every point along the way that they decide not to get off, right? Or that they're happy enough to get back on again. So think about this consumer journey like a merry-go-round, right? And it usually starts, but it can start anywhere, and it looks very linear up here, but it's oversimplified so that we can chat about it easily today. It usually starts with an idea. I think I need a gift. Maybe it's jewelry, or maybe the idea is that it's jewelry. Now, who am I buying for? Where do I want to buy from? What do I want to buy? When do I want to buy it? Let me get some information. Let me figure it out. Once I've got all the information, I make a decision. I make a purchase. I'm a consumer now. Then I receive the purchase. Maybe it's right there in the store. Maybe it's 3-5 weeks later because it's customized and personalized. Maybe it's a delivery, right? And after, if I have been delighted on every single step of this journey, then I'm going to be happy enough to recommend this retailer, designer, brand to my friends. Maybe I'm going to do some reviews about it, etc. So this is the merry-go-round that we're talking about, or the flywheel. Everybody has a different, I like merry-go-round because the horses are shiny and pretty. So this is the consumer journey. And there's lots of things that are happening at every step along this journey. The idea, right? I've got a wedding to attend. It's all these types of things that may be the idea. And if you're doing your job right, you may be the person giving them that idea. And we'll talk about how you're doing that along the journey. But there's all sorts of things that may give them the idea, and many of them we can influence, right? then they've got to gather the information. So they may be doing a Google search, they may be looking at a recent newsletter that you sent them, they may be going on Amazon, they may be looking at the Instagram, the social media of your store or the brand that they're interested in purchasing. There's lots of ways that they're trying to answer all these questions they have when they're looking for information. Next, they are going to make a purchase, and hopefully we're going to go. They're going to buy, right? And how are they making that purchase? How are you allowing them to make that purchase? How many different ways? Can they purchase from you on shoppable Instagram? Can they purchase from you online? Can they call you on the telephone and make a purchase? Or are they coming into a store? Do you have a physical store? So all these things are ways that you can give them options to purchase from you however they feel most comfortable. Then they're going to receive the item. How is that going to happen? Is it going to happen in store? Are they going to be delighted because there's a children's play area so that their little Susie can be entertained while she maybe shops a little bit more while she's picking up? Or are they going to be delivered to their home? And are you going to be very transparent about how it's going to be shipped, when it's going to be shipped, traceability, all of your return features, terms and conditions? All of those things are going to hopefully delight them to a point where they want to recommend you to someone else. And this is really the goal, to be so delighted that they will come back again, and also to be so delighted that they will recommend you to somebody else. So note now, on this journey that we've gone through, how far along the journey they are before they get to buy, right? So, and how much of the journey they have to go again after that buy. That's the post-purchase journey that we're talking about today. And that's where you have significantly more influence than you ever had for when they were going from idea to buy, because you've already got a buy-in, right? So that's why we're looking at this today and why it's super important. It's got its own little merry-go-round. It's so important, right? You have opportunities after that purchase saying thank you. Remember your manners everywhere along the interaction with any journey with a consumer is to behave as you would in person online. And in both places, remember your manners. Remember everything that your mother taught you. Thank you increases repurchases. Thank you increases click-throughs. Order confirmations, shipping, everything you see along here, the 3-day, the product review, we're going to talk about in more specific with each slide that we go through. This is now the little mini merry-go-round of what you do post-purchase and why you do it and how you do it and what technology tools can help underpin this so that you don't have to analog remember to do it all. We want to behave digital in a digital age. So first, we're talking about how you let them purchase from you. You may have a physical store. You may not. Either way, and you may allow them to purchase from you online. People are purchasing while they're in their bathtubs on their iPhones, right? Or by shoppable Instagram. There's lots of different ways that you can allow them to purchase from you. And what is important is that you allow them to consume your product the way that they're most comfortable. So if you're an online-only brand, make sure that you're layering pop-up shops and co-marketing partnerships where you're in person from time to time. When people feel like they can look, touch, and feel, they trust. Just like online, they need consistency so they can know, like, and trust. And if you have a store, make sure that you also have those digital options available to people. Because what you're going to find, once your analytics are set up properly and you're listening to what people are telling you via your data analytics, you're going to find that you learn that you'll get incremental sales by allowing them to purchase from you the way that they want to purchase, not the way that is easiest for you, right? So it's always consumer first. And how are you allowing them to execute and transact that purchase? Are you giving them payment options? Are you using Split It or Klarna or Afterpay, where they don't have to go through a credit check, but they can pay over a period of time? This is a super powerful method to allow them, again, to purchase from you in the way that they feel, is most convenient for them and addresses their concerns, right? If you are selling online, abandonment of cart is very prevalent. So giving them an exit pop-up or an exit offer that encourages them to come back or perhaps utilize a discount is another way that you can have software encourage them and keep them on this consumer journey with you. Our job at every point is to get them to move to the next point on the journey. So we want to answer the questions and make it easy as much as possible. So during the purchase is your moment to gather information, particularly if you are a retail store where you have customer service people who are talking to or salespeople that are talking to the consumer, or you have an excellent customer service phone department. This is their moment to shine. This is when you gather the information. You develop the rapport to say, do you prefer getting texts? Are you a WhatsApp person? Or do you want to be DM'd on Insta? When did you guys get married? How long have you been together? Oh, so you have 2 kids. When are their birthdays? This is when you collect all the information. And more than anything else, what you want to collect here is their preferences. How often do they like to be? Do they like to be contacted at all? Do you want to just show up here and surprise us? Get all that information. Make sure that it's memorialized in a CRM, customer relationship management system. There's fancy word for clienteling, right? And there are a lot of softwares, and we'll put some of them up on the board here, about how to make sure that we're collecting the information that we're going to use to guide how we interact with them. We may also ask them if they're happy to do a review after they walk out, or if we can send them an email in a few days' time so that we can get some feedback on their experience so we can be even better the next time. Each one of these 3 and 3s, you're not asking them to buy anything. It's just about what they've purchased, their experience, how you could possibly make it better next time. Never selling anything. The 3-month afterwards is when you're then reaching back out to them and saying, hey, how has it all been going? Has it been worn yet? How's it? So it's all just interaction and relationship deepening, because we know that the lifetime value of a client will be increased if we do this.
Hi, Elle here. Do you want to learn how to get on the phone with any buyer that you want to work with without an introduction or a referral? Click to get the downloadable that we've made for you that you can start using right away and will be really useful for your business and growing your revenue.
So during that purchase is where you want to gather things also like wish lists, aesthetic preferences, everything up here. Let's talk about them one by one. Wish lists, not just for the person who's talking to you. I was looking at those mother of pearl cufflinks for my husband. I'll have to think about that when it's getting up to his birthday. Oh, and my maid, I want to get her like just a little tiny pendant. It'd be really nice. Or my daughter's graduation is coming. So wish lists for not only the person you're talking to, but the gift recipients that they might be considering is something that you also want to memorialize in your clienteling software or your CRM software. There you go. And then next one, aesthetic preferences, super important. You don't want to send them, a hard architectural German ring when they really love floral and vintage, right? So get an idea by showing them as you're talking to them on the customer service phone call or in store. Get an idea by showing them lots of different things to hone in on what are their aesthetic preferences. Do they like lots of melly? Do they like a big diamond? Do they like floral? Do they like architectural? Do they like halos? Whatever. Make sure that you get drilled down on that. Also take note of numbers of piercings they have, tattoos, things that will inform the type of jewelry that might be their style. And you can ask them those questions if you're dealing with an online chat, customer service, or telephone. And how many rings, necklaces that they're wearing at a time. That's super important too. And then purchases. Keep a track record of what they purchased, but not just what they purchased, but for whom. So if you have a real loyal client, so is this for you? Or is this for your daughter or your mom or your aunt? Keep track of those specifics so that you have those individual wish lists and the aesthetics of those people become more clear to you, and you can access it at a click in your clienteling software or in your CRM. Okay. And also recommend, when we're talking about purchases, recommend to them a complementary piece to what they've purchased in the past. Now, people's minds often go to, okay, so if they got that pendant, maybe I'll say, why not get the matching earrings? People are much more likely to buy the same item from the same item category again and again and again. So if they buy that sapphire ring, show them another ring next time, if it's a self-purchase. They are more likely, statistically, to buy from the same category repetitively. I buy rings. That's all I do is buy rings. Earrings is just a weird thing, and I'm sure each one of us know, like some women just love their neck. It's nice and long and elongated, and they always buy necklaces. So don't always think about matchy-matchy and let's go with the matching earring. Think about the statistics that tell us that if they bought a ring last time, they're buying a ring next time. And then occasion dates. Keep track of those occasions. Have them set automated emails that look very custom and personalized from the workflows of the software that we'll discuss that says, wow, I know the wedding anniversary is coming up in 3 months. Here's a few ideas. And you can give the right ideas when you're doing this white glove, which is not automated. You can take a look through the clienteling and say, and look at the purchase history and the wish list and make the right suggestions. And then you start delighting them as they go through the journey. So graduations, holidays, anniversaries, birth of baby, keep track of those and make sure that we reach out and talk to them. There's a couple of different ways that we interact with people, one-on-one and one-to-many, right? So any like phone call, text, white glove, I call it custom interaction, is one-on-one. It may be via email, it may be via DM, but it's still human to human. And then we also speak one-to-many. So I'm going to talk about both of these ways of interacting with them. The one-on-one, I like to say 3, 3, 3, right? So 3 days after the purchase, you follow up with them and say, how is everything? Did it, because that's the time when you get that niggling thing, when you are the consumer that you maybe wouldn't have mentioned, but if somebody reaches out to you via your preferred method of communication, you might say, the edge felt a little bit scratchy, and you can say, come on back in. We'll take a look at that and see if we can polish it over or whatever. 3 days. 3 weeks after, and hopefully you've already geared this up, where you've said, I'd love to send you, a little link where you can put a review or give us feedback to a short quiz, whatever it is that's going to be most valuable to you serving them again in that 3-week follow-up, then that's your moment to do it. And each one of these 3, 3, and 3s, you're not asking them to buy anything. It's just about what they've purchased, their experience, how you could possibly make it better next time. Never selling anything. The 3-month afterwards is when you're then reaching back out to them and saying, hey, how has it all been going? Has it been worn yet? How's it? So it's all just interaction and relationship deepening, because we know that the lifetime value of a client will be increased if we do this, right? We want to add value to them so that we increase our lifetime value in terms of sales. And make sure you're using the preferred methods of communication in this 3-3-3. And digital templates can be used for in-store personnel so that they can add the personalization, but have a template so that we're on brand. Brand consistency in digital communications breeds trust. So we want to have the same logo and the same format and the same fonts and the same. That's what's going to give us know, like, and trust, which we can't achieve with look, touch, and feel, which we can in store, right? So make sure that those templates for chats, for emails, are readily available to your team or loaded into your CRM or email communication management system. And we'll talk about more of those like MailChimp, Klaviyo, Constant Contact, you name it. So your other forms of communication are one-to-many. One-to-many forms of communication are things like newsletters. I'm going to talk about that for a second. Newsletters that you send out once every other week, notification that there's a new blog out, any communication on your social, it's one-to-many, right? Which is great, and we want them there because people can just be walking and see them, and that might give us an idea on the merry-go-round, right? But right after they purchase, they are never more receptive to opening anything you send them and listening and looking closely and opening up over and over and over again. It's the highest open rates you will ever have via email communication or electronic communication or even telephone call communication than ever. Why? Because they just purchased something from you and maybe they're waiting for it. So they're watching. this is thank you for your order. Again, mind your manners. Whether it's in store or not, you want to feed them into the same software technology support of this relationship management, which is say thank you and give them all the details and make it very easy for them to answer all the questions that they have the minute that they open this email. And they're going to open this email not once, but many times. So answer as many questions as possible when you send this email, because this is going to be perhaps the most opened email you have. It only says 100 up there, but it's something like 103. Like, there's a few different studies, but they're all 100 plus. So this is when people are opening and listening to you. So this is your moment. Transactional emails, highest open rate. So use a few of them. You should have a 2, 3, or maybe even 4 sequence flow of emails that go out to your clients right post-purchase, right? Thank them for signing up. Give them a welcome email. Even if they bought from you in store or on a telephone, you collect that email address and welcome to our family. You are now one of our treasured clients that we're going to spend our energy delighting to make sure that your next jewelry purchase comes from us, and any way that we can help you maintain your current jewelry, cleaning, watch, repair, you name it, we're here for you. Welcome. So your manners are everything. Thank them for signing up. Give them incentives to follow your social media and to transact with you again. Maybe it's a discount, maybe it's a gift, maybe it's an extra added service. 40% increase in transactions when you welcome people. So let's do it, right? Let's say, thank you for coming, and thank you for being here, and thank you for that purchase, and welcome to the family. Welcome to the team, welcome to whatever your personality and tone of voice is. You are going to get an increase in transactions for that. Thank them for it. Again, this is, it's the way we behave in person that's supported by technology, right? So add your social media handles to all of these. Encourage them, maybe even incentivize them to follow you and to click through and take a look, because that's your house, that's your brand, and that's your messaging. And that's going to, so putting a call to action on here that says, that says follow our social media is super important. And it's also going to increase your reach on social media, right? So sales receipt emails increase click-throughs, right, by 55%. And they abandon. They stop. They go, I want to think about it. I do this every single time I go in a shoe store. I try on the size below and the size above, and then I go, I'm going to walk away. And if I can't stop thinking about those pink Gucci shoes, then I'll go back and I'll get them next week. And if I still am thinking about them, that tells me it's right. So it's not a negative, it's not anti-you, but they abandon. So let's make sure that they do keep thinking about it, right? And let's make sure they know, okay, you're almost there, but you didn't pull the trigger yet. What can we do to help you? Are you having trouble checking out? Can we get in touch with you? So retargeting, abandoned cart retargeting is super important. So 2/3 of users abandon the cart at the buying stage. So we got to talk to them. And we got to talk to them in a way that's automated. So we're going to use some technology in order to make sure we do that. Again, shipping confirmations, as transparent as we can be, automated email, and there are a few service providers, and I'll put them up on the screen, that really help with the shipping, the management of the entire order has been confirmed, order is being produced, order is being shipped, here's how you track it, here's how you trace it, here's the returns. Keep transparency at the fore so that everybody understands what to do, how to do, when to do it, so that it's easy for them. And make yourself easily contactable. Your telephone number is visible, your address, your email. 12:30, we're doing okay. Yeah? Okay, so track your order. Instant buttons to allow them to go to the service provider that's doing the shipping, telephone number, prominent. These are all ways that you can make sure that people are feeling like they can trust you, and you're keeping this entire situation, they've already given you their money. Where's their stuff? Right? So you keep that super, super transparent. And this is an example of, again, another, I call these all transactional emails, the highest open rate of all emails you can do. So we want to have these sequences in place. And we're going to talk about this. I'm going to also show you the service providers that can help underpin all this with technology. Because this isn't human beings going, oh, it's been 3 days, I have to make sure. Oh, it's been... Some parts need to be notified by calendars and technologies and your CRM and your calendar integrated, but a lot of these are automated emails that are on brand with your brand guidelines, colors, fonts, tones, messaging, that are automatically being sent out for you with the software that can underpin this relationship. So it's a combination of in real life and software at all times. There's never online only and there's never offline only. You're losing money if you do either one. Yes, you really want to make sure that you also get reviews, and that's part of it. I'm going to steamroll ahead. This has a bunch of software companies, and again, I'll send you these slides. If you pop us an email at inquiry, you'll get that email address or the QR code at the end. These are a few of our most used software. So we work with companies only in the jewelry, gemstone, and diamond industry. That's it. It's all I've done for 30 years. It's all we ever do. And so we've kissed all the frogs. And a lot of them, promise you the world, but all of them need to be used integrated with other ones. That's why it's called a tech stack. One software is not going to do everything. And HubSpot wants you all to believe that one can do everything, but it's not. And it's always going to be better to get specifically what you need in an integrated tech stack. These are a few of the companies that we use over and over again and that we recommend, even for parts that we don't use because we are ears to the ground. To make sure that we are following through on that consumer journey. Some of these have to do with the CRM, like Monday.com or HubSpot, which is down there because their pricing aggravates me. But other ones of those are about post-purchase relationship management, packaging. On the journey, they receive a package from you. They receive maybe a package in a package. They're also sensitive about what are we doing to the planet and what's the CO2 footprint and how is this on brand and how am I delighted. I could talk for an hour about packaging. I really could, and I've been begging, but one day I will be able to. But you have such an opportunity to shine here with recycled product that is positive for the environment, that's CO2 neutral. You have such an opportunity here, and if you just, blank your eye once you finish positively sourcing your jewelry to how you're then packaging it, you're missing a real opportunity to talk about how you're doing the right thing with your packaging and how it's maybe reusable or how it is repurposable or easily to be recycled. So packaging is super important, and shipping and returns. And again, this is not very visible up there. 92% of customers say easy returns means I'll buy again. 92%. Easy returns, I will buy again. So we want this as easy as possible. So we want to use maybe one of these three, Aftership, Narvar, Malomo. There's others to make sure that's all they focus on. Is that after sale, the shipment, and the how do I return, and do I get a label in the box, and it's simple, and I don't have to get my printer, and easy returns, 92% say, that means I'm gonna buy again. So let's focus on that. I'm gonna keep steamrolling to make sure there's some time for Q&A. Reviews, Google reviews, Trustpilot, your own testimonials, which you put up as tiles on your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, validation. I believe it when the waitress says I look really pretty that night, 10 times more than when my husband says I look beautiful before we walk out the door. So use these to high heaven and integrate them with your website, integrate them with your social media, integrate them, tiles that you share out. One person's comment can yield countless other people's trust. So incorporate this, request this, have it in your email sequences to say, could you say a word or two about us? You can even suggest, would you say, I love working with it, or it's been a good experience. You can give it so they can just click, and then you can use it. So make it easy for people to do what you want them to do, right? Ever ask somebody to write you a review or a referral for a job interview? And they go, well, put together what you'd like me to say, and then I'll tweak it. That's easier than starting from scratch, right? So give them, here's a few things you could say. And always remember that the journey begins with the most lucrative, the most likely to increase your revenue and profit audience after the sale. So the gist of everything that I've talked about today is that the post-purchase is too valuable to ignore. And you should underpin it with technology that supports and automates. Even though I do this day in, day out, not only for my own company, but for countless numbers, usually 30 plus other businesses per year. that run from 10 million per year to 2 billion per year. Even though I do it for them, I still marvel over how much can be automated, but stay on brand and personalized. If you use some of the software businesses that I highlighted there, the specific names, right? In order to underpin this process, it should not be manual. It should not be remember to send a note. It should not be up to your store staff or your customer service telephone representatives. It should be automated. Anything that has to be touched by human hands has to have a reminder that's coming into an email, into a calendar, and it needs to be ticked that it's done, otherwise it's flagged, right? So making sure that we use technology to really lean in to the most important and valuable audience we have is the strong message that I want to send to you guys today. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
If you like that video, you're gonna love the next one. It's full of our expertise and tips on diamonds, gemstones, and jewelry, growing your top line revenue, and business strategy. Just click on the link, subscribe, and hit the bell button so that you'll be notified of our next videos, and give us a like. Bye for now.